Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover here today. So as always, if you end up enjoying the video or finding it informative, be sure to leave it a like. And if you are new here to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well. We're starting here talking about Microsoft Studios and PS5 Pro enhanced games. I have a report here from PlayStation Lifestyle where they say ever since Sony officially announced the PS5 Pro, players have been wondering if the console will be supported by Xbox Game Studios. Microsoft has acquired a large number of multi-platform developers who previously supported the PS4 Pro, so it's a legitimate question, and we've received our first answer. Diablo franchise general manager Rod Ferguson has confirmed that Diablo 4 and its Vessel of Hatred expansion will both be PS5 Pro enhanced. His statement came in response to a fan's question on X, and his tweet implies that Blizzard has been working behind the scenes to enhance the game for Sony's upcoming hardware. So somebody says, hey, any idea if Diablo 4 will be getting a PS5 Pro update? And Rod Ferguson replies by saying, I've been getting this question quite a bit recently, and I'm happy to say that Diablo 4 and Vessel of Hatred will indeed be PS5 Pro enhanced. Very proud of our hardworking team to make this happen. More details at a later date. Given this news, as well as Sony's history with Activision Blizzard, fans are speculating that Call of Duty Black Ops 6 will also be PS5 Pro enhanced, and will likely see a patch for Warzone as well. While we can't confirm this at present, the list of PS5 Pro enhanced games continues to grow, showing widespread industry support for the pricey hardware. Sony confirmed as much when it was revealed that they've taken major publishers on board. So yeah, we do have our answer here to the question, will Microsoft support the PS5 Pro? Will any of their studios that they own support the PS5 Pro? The answer is yes, and I'm not that surprised, because when you consider just how many studios Microsoft owns and the fact that many of them were previously multi-platform studios that did, as the article points out, support the PS4 Pro, it makes a lot of sense. So right now, the only game that is officially confirmed from the developers themselves is Diablo 4 and their upcoming Vessel of Hatred. So I think people are genuinely curious if we are going to see something like Black Ops 6 get PS5 Pro enhanced as well, because, I mean, that's something that Activision and all of their studios have done a pretty good job with, I would say, over the years. Is like every time their new Call of Duty game would come out, they would make sure it's enhanced for the PS4 Pro or the, latest hardware. So it'll be interesting to see if we get an update on that. But, when you consider that these are Microsoft-owned studios, of course, these are Activision games, right? I think it's going to be really interesting if Microsoft is, in fact, planning to bring more of their internal first-party games. I mean, from the more core Xbox studios. Like, for example, if something like Gears at any point in the future comes to PlayStation, or something like Forza, which we don't know if that's going to happen, but there's been immense speculation that eventually it will. But I think you guys understand what I'm saying. To see one of those teams kind of release a game on PlayStation 5 and then enhance it for the Pro, I feel like is a little bit different than Activision's teams or Bethesda's teams. So it'll be interesting to see how far this extends. But either way, it is good news. I was maybe, a little bit worried there that maybe Microsoft was like, no, we're not going to be, enhancing any of these games for the PS5 Pro. That would have been very disappointing. Moving on to the next topic, we're talking about Nixxes and how the developer refers to Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered as their first big PlayStation content project. Being reported by Push Square, they say Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered was recently revealed to a mixed reception, but that $10 upgrade option appears to have won over most people. Dedicated support studio Nixxes is at the project's helm, assisting in enhancing Guerrilla's open-world action game for PS5. In an interesting turn of phrase, one developer recently said in reference to Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, quote, after 5 PlayStation PC ports, the first big PlayStation content project from Nixxes Software is coming up, end quote. This tidbit is about a week old, but it was spotted on LinkedIn and posted on the popular forum Reset Era overnight. We could be reading into things too much here, but that phrasing certainly sounds like more content projects are planned. We verified the post, which remains up at the time of this writing, and so who knows, with rumors of a Days Gone remaster starting to snowball, perhaps Sony truly does plan to keep simply refreshing its past hits. So I did want to highlight this because I do think that some people are overlooking the fact that Nixxes, which was purchased seemingly to be a dedicated PC port studio, because basically that's all they've done, is now starting to do work for the PlayStation console as well. Now, granted, it's not necessarily the most exciting with something like Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered and the idea of maybe their next project for the PlayStation console being something like Days Gone, but it does seemingly show that they are starting to work more directly with the PlayStation console. And, you know, this is a remaster, so I don't want to speculate too much here, but maybe there's a possibility that as Nixxes continues to get more experienced with remastering these games for the PlayStation 5, maybe in the future they could end up becoming potentially a remake studio as PlayStation's individual studios themselves get more familiar with developing games for PC and, you know, kind of getting more familiar with that environment. And as Nixxes continues to work on these remaster projects, maybe one day they will, you know, become kind of like the new Bluepoint games, if that makes sense, where Bluepoint seems to not be doing remasters or remakes anymore, but original content. And so maybe Nixxes can kind of take that mantle where, yeah, we're going to kind of be that studio that starts to remaster and remake games. Would be very interesting. So I want to kind of point that out here. But moving on to the next topic, we have an interesting development regarding a sequel to Until Dawn. This is again being reported by PlayStation Lifestyle, where they say it was previously leaked that Firesprite Studio is working on a dark narrative-driven game, with all signs pointing to the horror genre. It seems this game is Until Dawn 2, a sequel to Supermassive Games' 2015 cult classic. The Until Dawn 2 rumor comes from Xbox-era co-founder Nick Baker via X. In a recent quote tweet, Baker remarks he is annoyed he couldn't leak the sequel himself. However, he did share that the rumored game is developed by Firesprite Studio. He says, "Call me selfish, but I'm annoyed I wasn't able to leak. I knew about this. Here's some more info I heard about the sequel. Apparently, it's Firesprite making it." Now, it says here, rumors began swirling about Firesprite Studios' horror game in 2022. Much of the information known came from job postings and employee resumes. Listings revealed the developer is working on a AAA game with a heavy focus on art, animation, and delivering unique character performances to heighten player presence and immersion to new levels. It also mentions the studio promising to take atmosphere, storytelling, player agency, and narrative firmly into groundbreaking territory on next-gen hardware technologies. Nothing ever explicitly lists Until Dawn 2 as the project, but it does fit these descriptions pretty well. Now, I want to add to this, the reason why Nick Baker is commenting on this is because there is, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but essentially people who have completed Until Dawn Remake or people who know about the ending, again, without getting into spoiler territory, it seems to indicate that they are planning to continue to do something with this franchise. That's why all of this is circulating now. And so, you know, to me, this is not surprising at all. I've been speculating for a couple of years now that it seems to me like Firesprite has been tasked with creating a follow-up to Until Dawn, because it seems clear to me that Sony wants to make Until Dawn a pretty big franchise. You know, there's a reason why they're remastering it or remaking it and releasing it, which it actually came out today. And there's a reason why they're doing a movie. That's because they want to continue it. And if you read the job descriptions of Firesprite's horror project, I know some people are thinking maybe it's Siren, which would be very interesting. But if you read these job listings very carefully, I mean, it literally fits every description and checks every box for something like Until Dawn 2. But wanted to just share this with you. Seems like Firesprite is in fact making a sequel to Until Dawn. Moving on to the final topics of the video, I just want to take a moment to talk about Silent Hill 2 Remake here, because I'm happy to report that it seems like it's reviewing very well. Now, I'm not saying reviews should necessarily impact your excitement for a game. I've always advocated for make the decision for yourself. and see for yourself and experience the game for yourself. But with something like Silent Hill 2 Remake, there is a lot of concern, especially knowing that Bloober Team is the one developing it, that, you know, are they really going to be able to nail this remake and do it justice? Well, over on Metacritic, based on 49 critic reviews, it's currently sitting at an 87, which is very good. And I'm sure Bloober Team and Konami are both thrilled right now. Only 5 of the reviews out of the 49 were mixed, with 42 of the reviews being positive. So yeah, I just wanted to throw this in here because I'm very excited for Silent Hill 2 Remake, and I won't lie, in the years leading up to its release, I was certainly a bit concerned that Bloober Team was the one taking it on. I think everybody had this kind of just trepidation where it's like, is this really the right team to tackle this project? And I'm very happy to see that they seemingly nailed it. But the very final topic talks once again about Metal Gear. This is coming from Genki Japan over on Twitter. He says Metal Gear Solid series producer Noriaki Yakamura says if they were to remake MGS1 or Metal Gear 1 and 2, they couldn't do it in the same way as Metal Gear Solid Delta, and they would have to create many new parts. He says they are also thinking about if it's okay to make the next game in the series, but they will think about the next steps for the series after getting feedback for Metal Gear Solid Delta. Before everyone who was involved in the original is gone, we need to create a path to preserve the Metal Gear series for 10 or 50 years into the future. I think this is something we have to do. So I just wanted to mention this because obviously with Metal Gear Solid Delta seemingly getting closer to release, people are wondering whether or not we're going to get more remakes. And he's making it known here that if they were to go back and remake like the first 3 original Metal Gear games, or, you know, Metal Gear Solid 1, it would take a lot more effort and time, which there's no doubt about that. They would basically have to do truly from the ground up remake where there are many things they would have no choice but to change. Maybe MGS1, they would have more leeway there where they wouldn't have to change as much. But thinking about Metal Gear 1 and 2, yeah, absolutely. That would require it would be a massive undertaking. It'd be very interesting to see that. But I agree with what he's saying here. They're taking it slow. They're not rushing anything. They're not necessarily thinking about Metal Gear Solid 6. They're more thinking about how do we preserve this series so that people, you know, in the future will be able to enjoy it in the best possible way. I'm all about that. But guys, that's going to do it for the video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave it a like. Subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share the video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.